Yes, there's confirmation of what Jerry was mentioning, a win that puts Yugoslavia on top of Group 4 on goal difference, one better than England. And talking of goals, one of the men pressing very strong claims for an England call-up is Spurs striker Clive Allen. 15 goals in 14 games this season, and a member of a remarkable footballing family.
Last week's Rangers-Tottenham match was almost an exclusive family affair for the footballing Allens, with three cousins playing in the same match. Wearing 7 for Spurs was Clive Allen. Wearing number 11 was Paul Allen. And for Rangers there was Martin Allen, all members of a footballing dynasty from a familiar end of London. Bonham Road, Dagenham on London's east side has produced half a dozen professional footballers. From these neat little houses came players like Terry Venables, and from just a few doors away, Ken Brown. There's also been Dean Coney and Dixie Walker, and from number 137 came the brothers Les and Dennis Allen. Dennis played league football for Charlton, Reading and Bournemouth, while Les's career was at Chelsea, Queen's Park Rangers and most notably Tottenham, for whom he laid on a goal at Wembley in their double season of 1961. Sons often follow Dad into the family business, as you can see in any high street, and the Allens are no exception. With elder brother Ronnie, the brothers produced 3 professional footballing sons. Paul, the youngest ever cup finalist with West Ham, Clive, twice a £1 million transfer and now Tottenham's top goal scorer, and Martin, recently established in the Queen's Park Rangers midfield. 3 cousins whose earliest memories are always of kicking a football.
Oh, I think I used to go to QPR when Clive's dad was manager there, and obviously was keen then, and used to watch Martin's dad play. And my father finished because he broke his kneecap. So I've always gone at an early age to to these clubs, and I think that's always made me very keen.
Martin? Yeah, it's the same really. I mean, I've always watched Clive and Paul and my dad when I was very young, and it just happened really.
Just wonder how significant a family occasion it was for you last weekend, when in fact all 3 of you were on the same field playing in the same match, 3 professional footballers.
Yeah, that was I think quite an achievement really, that all 3 of us was playing, but I think everybody wanted to do. I think Clive and myself wanted to beat QPR as much as Marcy wanted to beat us, so I don't think there was any love lost when we was out there. We both wanted to win for our teams, but in the end it didn't work out for us.
The first goal in Rangers' 2-0 defeat of Spurs was scored by Martin. What's it like for you two actually playing in the same team?
I think it helps me. I think it's nice to know that Clive's there and looking for one another. And I seem to have a rough idea of Clive in the box, what he wants to do and where he wants things. Quite quickly, I think. I seem to know he likes the ball near post and he cuts across people. So it's nice to play with Clive.
How do you explain this season, Clive? Because obviously this is turning out for you much better than previous ones have done.
Yeah, obviously at Tottenham it's the best start I've had from the start of the season. A hat-trick on the opening day of the season was great for my confidence. It's interesting that I've got over my injuries and I had a good pre-season, got a good pre-season under my belt, and I'm feeling fit and sharp. So hopefully I can keep it going.
And what about your own sons, future Allens? Is another generation going to come along?
Well, I've got 2 girls, so don't ask me that.
Another Allen may already be in the pipeline. Clive's brother Andrew is an amateur player, but 15-year-old Bradley has been training for several seasons with the Tottenham schoolboys. His elder brother, cousins, dad and uncle chalked up 1,100 Football League appearances between them. And Clive and Paul and Dad Les were there to watch Bradley going through his paces on Thursday evening. Les is under no illusions about encouraging another son to follow in his footsteps.
It's a very cutthroat business. There's numerous young players who are good players around, you know. I have a lot of time watching them, particularly at Brad's age, and it's a very high standard, and if he carries on the way he is, he's got a chance, but I hope he does, yes, but time will tell.
How many more footballing Allens from the East End family who've been making the soccer headlines since the late 50s?
Trevor, a lot of talent in that family, isn't there?
It's not bad, is it? I mean, Clive and Paul probably more known to supporters generally, but I mean, Martin's done a steady job the last couple of years for QPR in midfield, and he's had a little spell in the back four.
The big cry, of course, now is for Clive to be called up to the England squad, and that goal-scoring record of his is quite something.
Well, this year, Spurs, 12 goals in 12 games, and Clive's got 11 of them, which is incredible, really. His finishing is super. I mean, if he gets a chance, more often than not, it's tucked away. I think it's a bit unlucky that West Ham's Tony Cotty's come on the scene and has just edged in front of him as far as the sort of England squad is concerned.
There's almost an embarrassment of riches because there's Lineker and there's Cotty now bursting on the scene. There's little Beardsley. So you're saying it'll be a little bit difficult for him to, in fact, get in there. Mark Hateley presumably will be kept in the squad because of his height.
Well, I think that's the problem. You know, Tony Cotty's sort of edged out Kerry Dixon, and you know, we saw Yugoslavia against Turkey, and possibly a game like Turkey, a bit of height with Mark Hateley is useful. And I think Bobby Robson will keep Mark in as insurance to have a big man in the squad. And so it's difficult unless he lives out John Barnes or Chris Waddle to make an opening.
With Clive, would you say he's selfish or single-minded in the way he approaches striking?
Well, that's right. He has spells during a game when you don't notice him, and suddenly he pops up. I mean, he takes enough shots at goal as well. I mean, if he gets the sight of goal, he likes to have a go. And as they say, if you don't try, you don't score. And certainly 11 out of 12 is super, really.
A chance for everybody, in fact, to see the Allens, the two Allens, Paul and Clive, on Tuesday night, because Spurs are playing Hamburg, which is an interesting thing, isn't it? Playing a European side with no British, not British involvement, English involvement.
That's
7:45 kickoff.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good opportunity and for people to see foreign players. We haven't had that opportunity for a couple of years now, and the Hamburg are a strong German side, and of course they did well in the World Cup, so it'd be a good game to go and see.
Do you see a London club or even East Anglia with Norwich, because I think they're a smashing side, do you see either area challenging Merseyside?
Well, Liverpool-Everton are very strong. I mean, if there is a side, I think Norwich and Nottingham Forest are there at the moment. I can't really see sustaining it over the 42 league game. Of the London sides, obviously
Brian's on the phone.
West Ham, that's right. West Ham, I think they're conceding a lot of goals at the moment, but they've certainly got the ability to be up there again. But if anyone, I'd choose Spurs, actually. I think they've tightened up very much defensively, only 10 goals conceded. And it's just a case if they can get somebody scoring goals to help Clive.
Well, we'll know a little more about Norwich's challenge after their visit to Liverpool today. And tomorrow afternoon, we can see live on Match of the Day whether Trevor's old team, West Ham, are going to push Merseyside as close as last season. West Ham meet Everton, and it's nearly always a riveting game. One of the most memorable, the 1980 FA Cup semi-final replay in which Trevor here played.
Brooking. Again, that so important look up. Devonshire. Pearson, Devonshire, he's in the gap. Can he put it in? He can! Oh, that's a brilliant goal! That is a marvellous goal! Blanchford, Berardi, Lampard who got it away, but up comes Wright, 7 minutes left. Plenty of Everton players forward. Oh, that's done it superbly by Lampard! Pike, Brooking, cross, and oh, it's gone in by Lampard! Frank Lampard has scored for West Ham!
I think Barry Davies was more excited than you in that area, don't you? You went on, of course, to win the Cup. There's fantastic memories for you watching that game.
Yeah, that was very exciting. I know Frank Lampard won't be very happy to see himself chasing towards the corner flag. He was always embarrassed at running around. It was soon after the World Cup, wasn't it? And one of the foreign lads had done that. But it was a great night at Elland Road.
How do you assess your old team at the moment, Trevor?
Well, this year, I mean, they've just been as entertaining as they were last. If anything, though, they've conceded too many goals, particularly at home, where I think they've conceded 13, won 3 and lost 3. And that's the area that I know John Lyle's trying to tighten up. But certainly Tony Cotty's been scoring, Frank McAvenny, and Paul Goddard in the last couple of weeks has come in and done
Let's
well.
just look at the top of the First Division at the moment, and we can see the position as it is overall there, backing up what you were saying really about, well, Forest and Norwich obviously doing well at the moment. You say they won't last.
Well, it's an interesting season because really a couple of wins and the whole of that top half can transform itself. Nottingham Forest, in fact, haven't done well the last couple of weeks, but have stayed at the top. Norwich themselves also. Of course, they've got some hard games coming up, starting today at Liverpool. Everton, with the injuries, have done terrific. And then, of course, your old club Arsenal.
Well, I wasn't going to mention them, Trevor. I wouldn't mention them, of course. But they have crept up.
That's
just
right.
emphasises
George has
what
done
you
very
said.
well. Yeah, and they've got 2 or 3 young lads who have come in and done well.
I would say on your old side, the thing that's impressed me over the last year or so is the steel they have in their side now. And somebody everybody's talking about, really, again, a possible for England, Mark Ward.
Yes. Well, I think John Lahr would admit, in fact, that Mark, who's just receiving the ball here last season against Watford, he probably is vital as anyone in the side. Here he is. He loves to run at defenders, gets the ball, and probably a bit disappointed when he hits his shot, hits the post. And it rebounds
He's
out.
a key player. You really see him as the key player now.
Very key. He and Alan Devonshire give width in midfield. They get to the bylines, but as much as anything, I mean, we're seeing him here again in an attacking position. He does help out defensively, works back, a la Stevie Coppell, really. Here, he and Alan Devonshire do a little exchange on the edge of the area, and Alan Devonshire gets to the byline, crosses it, and Tony Cotty and Frank McAvenny have got such good service from Mark and Alan Dev that those two really are key, and Mark in particular has been a great signing.
Everton's obviously a great test for them. I think the most interesting aspect there at the moment is a very brave decision by Howard Kendall to put Bobby Mims out of the side and bring back Neville Southall. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, we know just how well Neville can play, probably on a par. This was the injury, of course, which took him out of the game. A terrible injury on his ankle there. You see how it twisted away. But how would you assess Neville and his importance, Trevor?
Well, if you're Bobby Mims, naturally you'd be disappointed, but really in their league championship season, I mean, here at Sheffield Wednesday, ball flicked in at the near post, and all the Sheffield Wednesday hands went up because they thought the ball was in the net. And during that championship season, there were 1 or 2 occasions during a match where a save like this, faintest of touches, it really was a great reaction.
Turned the game.
It did.
Or
turn
saved the game.
And here, this was a vital game at Spurs, a point-blank header from Falco, and Neville was there again. And after a match when Everton have ended up winning by a couple of goals, people tend to forget the 1 or 2 vital saves that he made. And I think the old maxim that an experienced player, once he's fit, if he's proved he's fit, you bring him back in.
Talking about experience and goalkeepers, just have a look at this photograph here. This is our old pal. Do you know Peter Bonetti?
Yes.
He looks like the old Grecian 2000, doesn't it? Now, he looks scared to death. 45 years of age. But we can tell everybody he's about to make a fabulous save there, isn't he, against Weymouth in the FA Cup last week.
Looking that worried, you can see how he went grey anyway, Bob. But, I mean, at 45, I mean, there's hope for you yet. You retired too early, obviously.
Yeah, well, you're giving me my age as well there. Now then, Trevor, just you see so much football. A little look through the leagues with us as they stand at the moment. You've looked at Division 1. Here's Division 2. Borley on top. Can he make it 3rd time lucky?
Well, I mean, they've been in that position the last couple of seasons, and hopefully you feel that they should go up. I mean, Joe Royal there in 2nd place has done great.
And Billy Bremner with Leeds.
3 old names, really, all doing very well. And Laurie Mack in 5th place. I don't think we should forget Sunderland quietly creeping up.
You must be interested in Division 3 because it's an old West Ham teammate in charge there, isn't it, at Bournemouth?
Well, Harry Redknapp's great East End character, who's quietly for the last few years been at Bournemouth and doing very well to get them up in that position. Middlesbrough, of course, it's great to see them up there with their problems. And Gillingham down in Kent there, really they've just been on the fringe the last couple of seasons. They'll want to get through this year.
I think it's a lovely thing in Division 4 with Northampton at the top. Graham Carr, their manager, not many people know much about him, but they have so many non-leaguers in that side.
That's right. I mean, I keep an eye on Northampton mainly because 2 West Ham reserve team players last year, Warren Donald and Keith McPherson, are doing very well for them this year.
Yes. Right, well, we must, just before we move on, congratulate Lenny Lawrence because he's become the manager of the month, Bell's manager of the month for this month. But for the 2nd weekend running, Britain's biggest crowd this weekend will be in Glasgow. Last Sunday, 74,000 were at Hampden as Rangers beat Celtic in controversial manner to win the Skol Cup. Today, 6 days later, Parkhead stages the Premier Division clash between the great rivals. Archie McPherson sets the scene.
The solemn expression on referee David Syme's face had nothing to do with the Sabbath, but was more in keeping with the extraordinary demands made on everybody walking out to face one of the most volatile crowds in world football. The afternoon didn't just pass, it exploded.
And Cammy Fraser is there, Butcher's there,
Durant is in and scores. Durant has scored for Rangers. Well, the very boy we were just talking about there takes his chance. Only a half chance. Touched by Terry Butcher. Went to the outside. And the near side of the goalkeeper. Rangers are in the lead. And now Aiken. Edison, a brilliant equaliser. McClare. Superb strike by McClare. And I think coming back the way they have come back, the initiative rests, I think, with Celtic. So free kick to Rangers. Goes for a penalty kick there. It's a given. It's a penalty to Rangers. Butcher was fouled according to the referee. A vital moment in this game. I make it 5.5 minutes remaining of the Skol Cup final. Penalty to Rangers. 2-1. Done with the greatest simplicity. And the jersey pulling and what appears to be the final push clearly vindicate the referee's decision. In the ensuing exchanges, watch Maurice Johnson approach Rangers number 3, Monroe. He appears to make contact with his head. And from the information passed on about that by the linesman, the previously booked Johnson was sent off. Chaos followed when it seemed clear enough that Syme was sending off Tony Shepherd. He was quite adamant about it. But when it was pointed out to him by players and the linesman that it was a coin thrown from the crowd that had struck him, he reversed his decision. And he can't really be faulted for ensuring the player was not wronged. But in a harvest of raised yellow and red cards, the colour that mattered was the silver in the hands of an English captain for the first time ever. A few days later, in keeping with refereeing controversies, Billy Abercrombie, St Mirren's captain, for being sent off and continually protesting, was actually shown the red card 3 times, giving him the prospect of an unprecedented 12-game ban.
Now, Trevor, I think that the sendings off and the bookings are the most interesting things that are coming out at the moment. I think perhaps, I mean, that's been confirmed that lad's got this 12-match ban. I think that it's time perhaps we should think of a sin bin within the game.
I wouldn't dispute that. I mean, we've seen in other sports how well it works, and it gives everyone a little bit of breathing space rather than having to make a spontaneous decision.
Let's just look how it does work in other sports, in hockey and in rugby league.